Welcome to our deep dive, everybody, into Carnival de Cadiz 2025. You guys sent us a ton of great stuff, a guide, YouTube videos, even transcripts. So we're totally set to get you all caught up on what's happening this year.
Yeah, there's a lot to go through for sure.
There is. But we're going to make sure, all the important dates, the big changes coming up this year, and we'll even give you a little preview of some of the big names you won't be seeing on stage.
Oh, really?
Some of them might even surprise you. Martinez Ares, for example, won't be there.
Wow, that is a surprise. He's been such a strong presence in recent years. It'll be really interesting to see what happens to the competition without him there.
Exactly. And he's not the only one Lowell Molina will also be missing. Makes you wonder who's going to step up to fill the gap, right?
Right.
But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's do a super quick recap of how Carnival de Cadiz works, just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Sounds good. Knowing how the competition works is really key to understanding the excitement and the buildup.
Okay, so think of like a pyramid of talent. At the bottom, you have the preliminaries starting January 23rd. This is where all the groups get their chance to perform.
And they're all competing within different categories, right? You've got the comparsas, known for their poetic lyrics and harmonies, the chirigotas with their satirical humor and catchy tunes, and then the coros with their grandeur, and the cuartetos, which are like these hilarious mini plays.
Exactly. So from the preliminaries, the top groups move on to the quarterfinals, then the semifinals from February 23rd to the 26th, and then finally the grand final on February 28th.
Andalusia Day, no less. It's like a whole month of incredible performances.
It is. And of course, for the real carnival diehards, the party goes on even longer. The Pregón del Carnaval, which is like this big opening ceremony, kicks off on March 1st. And this year, it's being led by the famous singer and composer from Cadiz, Antoñito Molina.
Oh, nice.
Now, I know you're probably thinking about getting some tickets, especially for the grand final. And let me tell you, the Ayuntamiento de Cadiz, that's the city council. By the way, they don't make it easy.
They sure like to keep things interesting. According to the guide, they announce ticket sales only a couple of hours before they go live, both online and at the box office.
So you can't wait until the last minute. But they do have a system to try to make it fair. Half the tickets are sold online, half at the box office, and they have a special quota for people with reduced mobility hearing difficulties or those over 65, so they can buy tickets a day later.
That's good that they're thinking about accessibility.
It is. But yeah, back to those grand final tickets. It's all in-person box office only. Can you imagine the line?
Oh, I bet it's crazy. Everyone trying to get those tickets.
Totally. So we talked about who's not performing this year, but there are also some pretty big changes happening even beyond that.
Definitely. One of the biggest is how they're choosing the jury this year. They're going to be alternating between male and female jury presidents for the adult competition, and they're also making sure there's an equal number of men and women on the jury itself.
I think that's a fantastic step towards more equality and representation in Carnival. It'll be really interesting to see how this might change the performances we see, maybe even encourage more diverse themes or themes that address social issues.
Yeah, maybe. And there's also this new role, an assistant for groups in the dressing rooms. It's not totally clear what they'll be doing, but it could definitely change things backstage.
It makes me think of those reality shows where they show all the drama happening behind the scenes before a big performance. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But there's another change that could have a huge impact, especially for the groups themselves, and that's the update to image rights.
Yeah, this is a big one. It seems like they're giving the groups more control over how their image is used, which could open up all sorts of new possibilities, especially with social media and viral content these days.
Exactly. Think about sponsorships, merchandise, even collaborations with brands. It could really change how these groups operate and how they make money.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about what this could mean in the long term. And it's not just the adult competition that's seeing changes. The youth categories, the infantiles and juveniles are getting some updates too.
That's right. They've got a bigger jury this year, plus changes to the rules about age limits for playing instruments and singing in choirs, and even some changes to how many times they have to perform. It really shows that they're serious about supporting the next generation of carnival talent.
It seems like the organizers are really working to shape the future of this event.
They are. And speaking of the future, there are some big names who won't be a part of it this year. Let's start with the biggest shocker. Antonio Martinez Ares, the three-time consecutive winner, is out.
Whoa, that's unexpected. What happened?
Health reasons, apparently. It seems like the pressure of the competition and the group's busy schedule was just too much. But here's the interesting thing. Even though Martinez Ares himself is taking a break, his group is still going to perform. They're putting on a new anthology called Los Cuervos.
So even though fans might be disappointed that Martinez Aires isn't there, they can still see his work in this anthology. It's a nice way to celebrate his work while he's recovering.
Yeah, it's like a best-of compilation, reminding everyone why he's such a legend. But he's not the only one taking a break. Lola Molina, another carnival favorite, is also sitting this one out because of health reasons. His Chirigota, Los Molinas de Chiclana, has been a carnival staple for 10 years now.
Oh, wow, yeah, they'll definitely be missed. Their sound, that Niejo vibe, it's so catchy. They always bring so much energy to the competition.
Right, they're like the life of the party.
Yeah.
But there is a silver lining here, too. They won't be competing officially, but they'll still be performing on the streets and celebrating their 10th anniversary with an anthology of their best work.
That's great. It shows the true spirit of Carnival. It's not just about the competition, it's about the joy of performing and connecting with the community and keeping the tradition alive.
It really shows you how deep Carnival runs in this city. And those two aren't the only ones who'll be missing. Jose Antonio Veraluque is also skipping the official competition this year.
Oh!
But he will be doing a street performance.
So he can't stay away completely.
It's in their blood. We've also got Javi Aguilera. He's the one behind the hilarious Cuarteto Los Cocos de Cadiz. But this year, he's busy with some other comedy projects, so we'll have to get our Cuarteto fix somewhere else.
Right.
And Manuel Moreira, who's been out since 2019 because of work commitments, is still taking a break from the Fala stage.
Right.
It reminds you that even carnival legends have lives and careers outside of this amazing festival, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But all these absences, especially Martinez Aires and Lola Molina, really make you think about how the competition might shake out. I mean, they've both been at the top for so long. What do you think their absence will mean for the other groups?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but it definitely changes things. On the one hand, it gives other groups a chance to shine. We might see some unexpected groups rise to the top this year.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could be a year for a real underdog.
Exactly. But on the other hand, with those big names gone, the pressure might be even higher for everyone else. They all know there's a spot to fill, and they'll all be fighting for it.
So it could be a really intense competition, maybe even more than usual. I'm getting nervous just thinking about it. But like, in a good way, it's exciting to think about all the possibilities.
It is. And with so many talented groups competing, I mean, just in the adult competition, there are 58 comparsas, 52 chirigotas, 19 cordos, and 5 cuartetos. There's definitely no shortage of potential winners.
Wow, that's a lot of groups. And we can't forget about the youth categories either. We've got 29 groups in the infantiles and 17 in the juveniles.
Oh, that's right. And with all the changes to how they're choosing the jury and the new rules for the youth categories, who knows what'll happen? We might see a whole new group of winners groups that maybe wouldn't have had the same chances before.
It feels like we're seeing a real turning point in Carnival, a time of looking back but also moving forward. We're remembering the people who've made Carnival what it is, while also welcoming new ideas and new talent.
That's a good way to put it. And with all the focus on equality and representation, I'm curious to see how that'll show up in the performances. Will we see more diverse themes, more experimentation with music and style?
I think so. This year's Carnival seems to be all about pushing boundaries and challenging the status quo. It's like they're saying, we're here, we're talented, and we have something to say, and I can't wait to hear what they have to say.
Me too. All this anticipation, the not knowing what's going to happen, it's all part of the magic of Carnival. Even though some familiar faces are missing, the heart of this festival is still strong.
Definitely. It's about the energy, the passion, the community coming together to celebrate their culture and their heritage.
And that makes me think, what about you, listener? With all these changes and some of those big names gone, who do you think will step up this year? Which newcomers or returning favorites are you most excited to see?
That's a great question. It's like trying to predict the next big wave. You know, it's coming, but you're not quite sure where it'll break. I guess that's part of the excitement, right? The surprise, the anticipation. That's what keeps us on the edge of our seats.
Exactly. And it's a testament to how powerful Carnival is that even with all these changes and people missing, we can still expect a competition that's full of talent and creativity. This year feels like a real turning point, a mix of tradition and innovation where the icons make space for the rising stars. It's going to be amazing to see what happens.
I completely agree. And that reminds me, for everyone listening, we've got all the important info about dates, tickets, and the big changes this year. Be sure to check the show notes for all the details so you don't miss anything.
And don't forget to check out those YouTube videos you sent in. They're a great way to get a feel for the energy and the atmosphere of Carnival, especially if you've never been there in person. It's truly something special.
It's amazing. We've talked about so much today, from the craziness of getting tickets to how these big changes and missing performers might shake things up.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's still so much to discover and experience at Carnaval de Cadiz. It's a living tradition, always changing and surprising us.
Exactly. So like a huge pot of creativity, always boiling over with new ideas and energy. I can almost hear the music and feel the excitement building already.
Me too. And that's what's so great about Carnival. It goes beyond just being there. It sparks your imagination and makes you feel connected to something bigger than yourself, something joyful and timeless.
It really reminds you that even with all the challenges and changes, the human spirit keeps going. The desire to create, to celebrate, to connect, that never goes away. And that, my friends, is worth celebrating.
It really is. So as you get ready for Carnaval de Cadiz 2025, remember to be open to surprises, cheer for your favorites, and most importantly, let the spirit of the fiesta move you.
Until next time, keep that carnival spirit alive.
Ahora, si está escuchando esto, posiblemente no esté suscrito al canal, activar la campanita para que os avisen cuando haya un nuevo relato y compartir con la gente que queréis, os lo agradezco de corazón.